Welcome to our Miracle Morning Mastermind. Happy December 1st. Today's call is about making December a December to remember. And this is another exciting time and a month of urgency. Very much like November, December is a month of urgency. And what do I mean by a month of urgency? That means that it's a major holiday month. And so we want to accomplish a month's worth of activity within the first 2 to 3 weeks of the month so that all the goals are accomplished long before the holidays kick in again. And so last month, reflection for those who were on our announcements last night, you probably heard, and for those who don't know, the psychology behind this. So we do a friendly competition within our team, within our organization, and our organization is divided into 5 groups, 5 divisions. I call power teams, and within the 5 power teams, we compete to see which power teams have the most in production, the most in sales, recruiting, number of performance club qualifiers, etc. And it's a friendly competition. And the mindset is, your power team um, deserves to be first placed and inspire the rest of the team. That's that healthy part of it. Like, we're going to be first place so we can inspire the rest of the team versus letting somebody else always be the ones inspiring us. And so, with everybody having that mindset, it should cause consistent growth, especially when the team members, not just the power team leader, but the team members take on that spirit, take on that mindset. They bring that competitive energy and enthusiasm and focus, and everybody's working together to push the rest of the team to a new level. And that's the whole idea. It's fun, it's friendly, it's healthy. And there's a book called The 17 Laws of Teamwork by John C. Maxwell, and another called The 17 Qualities of a Leader. It'd be worth Googling those 2 titles just to get the PDF so you can see a list of what are the 17 laws of teamwork. Even if you weren't ready to read the whole book, how powerful would it be to know what the 17 laws of teamwork are and what the 17 qualities of a team player are so that you can measure yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 on each category? How strong am I in these 17 laws? I wasn't even aware of them before. Which of the 17 laws of teamwork are we implementing well? And which can we implement better? And which will we focus on right now? Same thing with the 17 qualities of a team player, which is about the individual person. Which of the 17 qualities am I implementing well? Which of the 17 qualities can I implement better? And which of the 17 qualities will I implement right now? So, teamwork does make the dream work. Now, the interesting thing about these power teams is that everybody started off on one power team, and that's my power team. And as we develop new executive directors that become core leaders, um, that executive director leaves the nest of my power team and starts to lead their own power team at some point when we think they're ready and it's a good time. And so when a strong leader leaves my nest of my power team and starts their own, my numbers drop to the bottom because we're no longer counting all the production from that strong leader that just left the nest. So if my power team was leading the way, it always goes back down to the bottom. And so we developed the first power team leader that left the nest, and then the second one, and then the third one, and then the fourth one, and then the fifth one. And then there's multiple leaders, power team leaders within that power team that develop. So anyway, my power team always goes back down to fifth place out of the five power teams when a leader breaks away with their group, and that's designed on purpose. Then and also keeps me in the zone. Like, all right, I gotta get that back to first place again. Who's mine? It keeps me finding my next power team leader. This is a training all in itself. I almost want to pause and see what you all take away from that from a leadership perspective. In fact, go ahead and put that in the chat. What do you take away from that from a leadership perspective? And put those answers in the chat for me, or beneath this video, depending on how you're watching this. And so it keeps me fresh, where I'm constantly looking for who is the next leader that I'm raising up to replace me as a power team leader. That is what leaders do. We constantly seek out and develop new leaders to replace ourselves and multiply the organization. Otherwise, you're not really an effective leader. If if you're always the only one leading, then what happens when you pass away? The whole organization collapses. What happens when you go away for vacation, or if there's a health challenge to focus on? If the organization doesn't thrive and multiply without you, then you may not be leading it as effectively as you think. You may be just like creating a job for yourself. So I love the comments in the chat. Yes, I see leading by example on repeat. Ricky Smith says, Pastor Glenn says it'll keep me in a creative mood. Yes. Darlene Edwards says it keeps duplication going. Yes. And multiplication. Yes, absolutely. And so I'm just saying all that to say that we just rose back to first place. So my power team rose back to first place this month, even though we've had two power team leaders leave the nest in the last month. Um, and we went back down to fifth place, last place, but we rose to first place. So far, we'll see with the final numbers in a couple of days once everything processes. But we rose to first place, and I rose to first place in personal sales and tied for first place in personal recruiting in the whole organization so far last month, as of the other day. So what shifted? And what first thing I want to point out is that when a power team has a shift like that, it's usually driven by one or more people within that power team who turned it on and went to another level. It doesn't take the entire team to shift the team to victory. Some of you all have seen that in sports. You've seen that in business. You've seen it at work. You've seen it in life. It does not take everybody to make a shift. It didn't take everybody for Harriet Tubman to lead a movement of slaves getting free, or people who were enslaved getting free. I don't like that word, that label of slave. Nobody's a slave. They were in people who were enslaved. um, uh, but so for her to lead so many people who were enslaved to freedom, um, it didn't take all the people. It took one person to be the catalyst for the whole movement to take place. In fact, that happens to be one of the 17 laws of teamwork. the law of the catalyst is what it's called, if I'm not mistaken. But there's always somebody who becomes a catalyst. Somebody gets a burning desire. Somebody their desire goes through the roof, their belief goes through the roof, their focus goes to the roof, their urgency goes to the roof, and their labor goes through the roof. Those five things are what I call the five internal gauges of success. And it does not take a consensus. You don't have to look around and go, wow, what do I need to fix? It's interesting when new people come into the company, for example, and they are exploding, breaking records, something that always happens. I've seen this throughout 25 plus years, a quarter of a century, over and over again. When new people come in and break records, um, what seems to be human nature is for those who are watching to start questioning, well, what are they doing differently? Maybe I need to change my system. Maybe I need to change um, my whole playbook. Maybe I need to change teams. You know, maybe I need to do. They start looking for answers as to why is this person out producing so much, and questioning um, the fundamentals. And very rarely, it seems, do people, well, actually, I'll say that differently. People always end up, if they are paying attention, they always end up with the same answer. You could change your system and still not produce that kind of result. You can change your team and still not produce that type of result. In fact, one of my team members um, was um, was transparent enough to share with me something, and his girlfriend was in a different team, a different organization, and that organization was producing so many success story after success story after success story. And so he confided in me. He shared with me, man, I just knew that, man, if I was on that team, I would have way more success and be able to become an executive director. So he stopped working his business within our team, and he started working in his girlfriend's business on their team. And month after month went by. He went to work. He was excited. He was inspired. That newness of being a part of a new organization. Um, and I mean, he was surrounded by massive leaders, massive success stories. And he told me, he said the grass looked greener on the other side, but I still didn't go executive director. And so he came to me humbly one day and said, man, I don't know what's going on. I really thought that changing teams was going to be the answer to my problem. And I said, let me throw down a challenge to you. He said, what's that? I said, if you just trust me for the first time and follow my coaching 100%, and stop focusing all over the place. You're not gonna get what you want if you got all these different coaches. Your mind is all over the place. It's like you're listening to the Kansas City Chiefs coach, and then then you're going and talking to um, the Raiders coach, and then you're going to talk to the Commanders coach. And if you followed any one of the coaches, you'd probably be more successful, but you're all over the place. You got too many coaches. You got too many different directions. You got too much confusion. It's creating a double-minded message. You're all over the place. I said, if you just trust me as your coach and do everything I ask you exclusively, and keep it simple and focus on the playbook that I gave you and that I'm giving you, I promise you, you're going to see some spectacular results. He said, okay, I'll do it. Well, that next few months, he not only qualified executive director for the first time, he qualified executive director almost every single month throughout the year and entered a book called The Profiles of Success. So when it comes to asking, okay, what do I need to do differently? Do I need to change something on the outside? It's almost never a change that needs to happen externally. There's a shift that must happen internally. No matter where you go, there you are. Some people do that in relationships. They go, man, if I just get out of this relationship and if I could get into that relationship, man, things would be better. And then they get into that new relationship and the same problem shows up. And they get into a new relationship. So, you know what? It's that relationship again. If I get into that new relationship over there, then my problems would go away. And they get into that new relationship over there and the same problem shows up. And they do it a third time. And hopefully, finally, they realize, wait a minute, the only common denominator is me. Wherever I go, there I am. So if I don't fix me, if I don't get me right, if I don't heal myself, I'm going to take the unhealed version of me to every relationship, to every organization, to every business, to every goal. So I don't have to keep searching everywhere else outside of myself for the answer. The only place I need to search is within me. What must I shift? And the truth is the most powerful transformation tool. And yes, as they say, sometimes the truth hurts, but it will set you free. It also heals. The truth hurts, but it heals more than it hurts. And it's going to hurt anyway. Either we're going to face the pain of being unhealed over and over again, the pain of not transforming over and over again forever. That pain lasts forever. Or we're going to face this short term pain of facing the truth, embracing the truth, and allowing the truth not just to hurt us in a healthy way, but to heal us in a permanent way. So, how do we implement this? Again, it's called the 5 internal gauges of success. How do you become the catalyst for your power team? The 5 internal gauges of success. How do you become the person in your organization that causes everything to shift, a domino effect of momentum? It's the 5 internal gauges of success. Gauge number 1 is desire. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, man, I figured out what I really, really, really want, and I want it so bad that nothing's gonna stop me from achieving it. I'm like a freight train. I'm gonna hit this goal with so much passion, so much enthusiasm, so much healthy obsession that nothing is going to stop me until it is achieved. I will until. Everybody's got a name for it. Napoleon Hill studied the science of personal achievement and practiced the 17 laws of achievement that Napoleon Hill teaches. The 17 universal laws of achievement. This, I was writing some notes this morning preparing for this call, and I was thinking about, man, that book is such a part of my DNA. The 17 laws of achievement by Napoleon Hill, it should be a part of the DNA of our entire team. Everybody on the team, if you don't study and practice the 17 laws of teamwork, then you don't even know, you don't have founder's DNA yet. You don't have the DNA that's in me yet, because what fuels me and what drives me and what helps me overcome obstacles is what I fed myself. And what I fed myself more than anything else in terms of achievement, like understanding achievement, overcoming obstacles, winning, is the science of personal achievement by Napoleon Hill, where he teaches the 17 laws of achievement. There's a PDF you can find for free on Google. But if you don't know those 17 laws of achievement, that's different from John C. Maxwell's 17 laws. These are the 17 laws of achievement by Napoleon Hill. So desire is the starting point of all achievement. That's the first principle. It's a burning desire backed by um, a burning desire definite major purpose backed by a burning desire. That means you've chosen a definite chief aim. This is the number one thing, the number one desire, the number one purpose that drives me more than anything else, that means more to me than anything else. And I've got a burning desire, and I keep adding fuel to it. I keep adding coal to the fire. I keep adding gasoline to the fire by reminding myself of all the reasons why I want to move towards this desire and all the reasons why I want to move away from not having it. The pain. I want to move away from the pain of not having it, of not doing it, of not being that person, and move towards the burning desire of having it, being it, doing it. So that's the first gauge, internal gauge. It must start with a burning desire. The second gauge, and put what you're taking away in the chat from this. The second gauge is belief. So let's say your burning desires for executive director, 5 to 10,000 a month or more. For example, your burning desires for $10,000 a month or more. For example, in business, so that you can provide for your family, so that you can replace your 9 to 5 income, so that you can get back that 40 hours a week that belongs to you and your goals and your dreams and your family, instead of giving it away to somebody else's goals and dreams for their family in a 9 to 5 setting. I didn't want to spend 40 plus hours a week to earn the same income that I can earn in 10 to 15 hours a week in my business. Why would I continue to give 40 plus hours a week of my life? Of my life. Time is life. Why would I give 40 plus hours a week of my life continuously to help somebody else live their dreams and goals for their family and their purpose, and put mine on the back burner? That's sick. That's sick. Like something's missing in my self image I need to heal from. Where do I need to heal if I think that it's okay for me to sacrifice 40 plus hours a week of my life to only help somebody else achieve their goals, dreams, and purpose, their God given calling and assignment, and put my God given assignment on the back burner and think that that's okay to do for 20, 30, 40, 50 years? Somebody taught me that lie, and I need to replace it with the truth. The truth is, my calling, my family, my dreams, my goals are more important for me to achieve and focus on than somebody else's. And if I need to do that in the beginning for a short period of time in order to stay afloat until I mature enough to step into my own uh, leadership, my own entrepreneurship, my own self discipline, self control, self image, then that's fine. But I know that that's a temporary part of my plan until my business kicks in, my own business, minding my own business, like First Thessalonians 4:11 through 12 talks about. So that's desire. And if you are here, even listen how I'm talking. Can you feel the emotions that I'm triggering within myself that fire me up? I'm firing myself up. I'm reminding myself of why I want to go where I want to go, and why I'm reminding myself of the pain in the present, so that I can get uncomfortable. Like an eagle, when they build that eagle's nest, it's filled with layers of glass and thorns, and then they put some cushion around it, and then there's more glass and thorns. Why would an eagle put glass and thorns in the baby's nest around the baby? Well, when the baby is small, it can't feel it. It's padded. They can't feel the thorns and the glass because it's in the middle of the nest. It's not touching the edge of the nest constantly. But once that baby gets to a certain size, all of a sudden it starts to rub up against the edges of the nest, and it gets pricked by the thorns. It gets pricked by the glass, and it becomes so uncomfortable. The pain of staying in the nest is greater than the pain of overcoming their fear, jumping out of the nest and using their wings to fly. If they don't spread those wings and fly, that baby's not going to survive. So the eagle has enough wisdom that God placed inside of that eagle to make it uncomfortable for that baby eaglet, at some point, it has to start getting out of the nest and spread its wings, overcome its fears, and start to fly like it was born to do. So that's desire. I guess we have to continue this to go in deeper. Maybe this will be a little series, but I'll give you the other four. Number two is belief. Belief, getting your belief to attend around that thing that you want. If it's 10,000 a month and beyond, um, then you got to get your belief to a 10. What are all the different lies and fears and things that are keeping you from believing that is possible? And how do you overcome those lies eternally? Making a list on the left of all the disempowering thoughts and beliefs and fears: fear of success, fear of failure, fear of man, fear of what people are going to think, fear, what are all the fears, the lies, and disempowering thoughts, beliefs, and emotions that would keep you from going for it. You put that all in the left column, and then you replace them with truth, something empowering, on the right column, the second column, so that you can not flirt with those lies anymore, not allow those disempowering beliefs, thoughts, and emotions to hold you back. So you make that chart and get your belief to a 10. And then number three is your focus. Your focus. Stop putting all these other things ahead of the thing that you want the most. In order to keep saying yes to all those things you've been saying yes to, you got to say no to your real dreams and desires. So change that. Stop that. Stop that sabotage. Stop putting other people's priorities ahead of your own. So now it's like, no, you take a blank calendar and you rebuild your calendar. Stop allowing your old calendar that your old self created to hold you hostage. You're not hostage to the stuff you agreed to do in the past. You're not the person that you were when you created those priorities, when you agreed to that stuff. You're not even in the same place in life. You're a new creation. You got new goals, new visions. So your schedule must reflect your new you. Your old schedule is not sufficient for the new you. Your old priorities don't fit in this new life that you're creating. And your new life is not based on your past life, it's based on the future you. So make decisions based on the future you, not the past you. And then reset your priorities. That means start with a blank calendar. There you go, Dr. Mack. You got to let go of the old you in order to embrace the new you. Full transformation. You got to put people on notice. That's my new priority. So start with this is why I love starting with a blank calendar every month, meaning I have no commitments. If I had no commitments whatsoever, and I started over with my 24 hours in a day, what would the new me put as a priority on my schedule? Not the old me, the new me. What are my most important priorities? Spiritually, health. What am I doing with my time to earn income? There's a book called 10X is Better Than 2X. Woo! And it'll teach you how to practice 10X thinking. We'll be talking about that. 10X thinking. What would it take for me to 10X? What would I have to change in my schedule in order to 10X? Like to earn 10 times what I've been earning. So that's belief. Number four is urgency. If your urgency doesn't kick in every day or every hour, you're already behind. If your urgency isn't kicking in, all right, this is what I have to do every day. This is what I have to do every hour. And you're actually doing it, then you're already behind. You're not behind at the end of the month. People aren't falling short at the end of the month because of the end of the month. They're falling short at the end of the month because on the first day of the month, like today, that urgency isn't already kicked in. They're still thinking about November, and it's December the 1st already. In fact, November ended 7 hours ago. That was over 7 hours ago. Why are we still thinking about November? We're already 7 hours late in December. So we're not driven by the past. We're focused on what we're producing this month. There's some things I must accomplish today. There's some things I must accomplish in this next hour to stay on track with where I want to be by the end of the month, because my desire is strong, my belief is strong, and my focus strong, and now my urgency is strong. I got to do it right now. What must I do today? What must I accomplish in the next um in this next hour to 1 to 3 hours? I want to hear from you, Dr. Mack and Ms. Jefferson. Who else is being impacted, if you can? And then finally, the last one is work ethic, labor, work ethic. And that means I'm willing to do 10 times more work than I thought it was going to take. I'm willing to do whatever it takes, more than enough. I'm going to make sure my plan includes more than enough activity to achieve the goal. So if I know 10 equals 2 and 1, I need to show 10 people in order to enroll 2 more. I'm not trying to find a shortcut around the numbers. In fact, I'm going to do 20 to make sure I have 2 more. If I can get 2 done with 10, I show 10 people with a 3-way intro, and I'm going to get 2 signups. If I want a winning plan, I'm willing to do 20. I'm willing to do twice as much or 3 times as much to make sure I overachieve the goal. And people that don't think like that usually fall short of the goal. And that's called a sin. Literally. Sin is an archery term. It means to fall short. If you're aiming for a bullseye, but the arrow never makes it to the bullseye and it falls short and hits the ground, that's called a sin in archery. You missed the mark. That means something was off from the beginning, that you didn't even get the arrow to hit the bullseye. So that means you did not have a winning plan or a winning focus. And so labor, that 5th gauge, work ethic, it means a level 10 work ethic means you did way more than enough activity than was required to achieve the goal. Not just enough, way more. And when you make that shift, you'll realize it's normal to always exceed your goal. You're not trying to hit a goal. You're always exceeding your goal because you always do way more than enough to get it done. Those are the 5 gauges, the 5 internal gauges of success. Um, Takeaways? Would you take away, and what are you going to implement on this
Okay, good
first day of the
morning.
month? Yes,
Good
ma'am.
morning, Coach. This is Ellen Jefferson in Washington, D.C. I'm on the Boone team. I'm an executive director and an executive director maker. The takeaway that I have is that, it's important for us to monitor our own thinking, our behavior, and that's where I think I've been falling short. I mean, I was thinking about as you were describing uh, maintaining the urgency, sometimes there's a news flash, a news breaking story, and I'm thinking, why now do I feel that I'm compelled to know everything that's going on at the national level, macroeconomic stuff? I just need to focus on my goals. I certainly have huge goals and big reasons to achieve those goals. My grandchildren and some personal things that I want to desire. So it's keeping our own thoughts in check. There's that urge to take a look at someone needs help over here, or there's a news breaking story, or I don't know, need to take my car to the repair shop. Those things are not priorities, especially now. I I get it. And the other thing is when you mentioned the Eagles, I, I never I never knew that. I never knew what the impetus was in getting those baby eagles to fly from the nest. But I see that this is probably that we're fomenting um, a plan of greatness here. And I quite frankly, I've been saying to myself, I'm doing things, but it's not happening enough. And then I get disenchanted. But I see that there's no, I don't have the luxury of stopping to reflect on whether it's happening fast enough. I just have to do it. Just do it, and it will happen. And I had a breakthrough. Mr. Boone called me last night, and again, he gave me that little nudge, and so I was able to achieve uh,
Performance Club.
Performance Club. Yes. And I see now the importance of that. It's been said over and over and over and over again that Performance Club is the baseline. And I get it now. I get it. And so I'm here. And in fact, I was very late this morning because I got a call from one of my prospects that I spoke to weeks ago, and I had forgotten about her. So I'm going to hop off and see if I can get a three-way with Mr. Boone. We do have Monday leaders, so I plan to participate in that. Thank you so much. This was very profound. Thank you, Coach.
Let's go. Let's make some noise for Miss Ellen Jefferson. Woo woo.
Woohoo!
That muscle of qualifying Performance Club is the muscle that you need to qualify senior directors, the muscle that you need to qualify executive directors, the muscle that you need to lead others to Performance Club qualify. It is the foundation. Dr. Mack, are you able to share? Oh, she had to go. All right. Anybody else? One more before we go? Let me check the chat. All right, family.
Good morning, all.
MondayLeaders.com. Go ahead, sir.
Rick Smith, North Louisiana, on the Bell Power team. I'm an executive director, and I am an executive director maker. And I may not be able to interact all the time, but one thing that I got from this is always reach my goal early, and early, like on time is early. Because if you're on time, you're late. So my goal personally is to get my 2 reach outs a day every day done by 12:30 a.m. right after midnight, because most of the time I'm up at midnight, so I can reach out to people on social media. At green dot, mean there may be available. So reach out to enough people and I get better results. So by me reaching out at midnight, I don't have to rush at 11 o'clock p.m. to get my two in. So that's what I'm taking from it.
There you
Do what I need
go.
to do early and don't have to wait. Thank y'all.
And change that out two outreaches to 2 3 ways. 2 3-way intros. That's the number that's gonna move the needle. I was doing my 2 to 5 outreaches and I was still I just had a bunch of people at first base. The outreach just gets people to first base. But the 3-way
Absolutely.
intros is what moves people to and past second base. And that's where the money exchanges hands. You know, outreaches get people to the drive-through window. The first drive-through menu, but it's the 3-way intro when you move them to the next window and then the next window where the money exchanges hands. So it's not enough to load a bunch of people up at the driveway entrance. We got to move them to the next windows. That's where all the money is made, and that's where that customer actually gets served, which is why that's where the money gets made. So do 2 3-way intros a day, everybody, by that time in the morning that you've designated as your time. Let's go crush it. I believe in you all. Love you all. MondayLeaders.com. Right now, jump on and let's go crush it today. ED equals
Every day.
Every day.
next stop.